Thanks EA for providing me early access to the new Skate update. Hey everyone, it's DIZE here, and today I will give you a quick review on everything you need to know about Skate Season 2. We're gonna talk about character customization, new tricks, map changes, the new replay editor and much more, so let's go! As you can see, when booting up and creating your own skater, you will notice an immediate difference in the visuals. The overall aesthetic got a big update, which looks less like a Fortnite cartoon style and more like a realistic game with just a bit of character to it. Here you can see a side-by-side comparison with the exact same hair, eyes, nose and so on. While the changes are quite small, they do make a big difference in my opinion. As most of you know, I'm not a fan of the current art style of the game, so I think that this is a good step towards better graphics. For now the hair still bugs me out the most, since it still kinda looks like clay, but I'm sure that this will also be updated in the future. Moving on, we are greeted with a new Season Skate Pass. As some of you know, I wasn't really interested in the first Skate Pass, there just wasn't anything in there that I really wanted to own. That's why even today I have barely unlocked anything from it. The Season 2 Skate Pass however is a big step up for me personally. As I go over every piece you can unlock, you can see that it's very 80s themed, which I personally really like, and it's also done quite well. I guess if you really dislike the 80s style, this pass won't be really your cup of tea, but even leaving that aside, the pass has still improved. First of all, it seems to have way more clothes and board gear, while the Season 1 pass was more filled with stickers and emotes. And while the Season 1 pass only gave you 400 SV bucks, the Season 2 pass will give you 500. Another big improvement is that the unlocking animation is now much quicker. As you can see in the side-by-side comparison, they got rid of the annoying congratulations animation. Before it was just super frustrating how long unlocking crates and other items would take, the new animation feels much more natural. Okay, we got some cool new clothes from the Skate Pass, but what about the actual gameplay? What's new? Well, first of all, let's do this. Yes, we finally have an option to turn off the compass and everything else on that screen. That way we have total clean gameplay, which many players were wishing for. Now for the tricks. We now have impossibles. These come in all variants, meaning each, ollie and nollie, with front or back foot, and are super satisfying to do. The control input is also quite intuitive. For it you just have to do a full circle. And yes, you can also hold these, which just looks super insane, and do a late flip variation of them. Now, as some of you know, the old 360 shovels already kinda looked like an impossible, so to differentiate them more from the impossibles, they also have updated the 360 shovels animations. I think this is a good idea, however I'm not fully satisfied with the new animation. I can't really pinpoint it, but it looks a bit off, kinda reminds me of a Tony Hawk game trick. Moving on, another new addition are all the new hand plants. While we could only do basic hand plants before, now we have all the hand plants that we know from the older games. This includes the tailbone plant, tuck knee plant, stiff plant, boned plant, crossbone plant, method plant, tweak plant, and of course also the more crazy ones. 1 foot plant, judo plant, frigate plant, and my favorite, the gymnast plant. These all work very well, and the cool thing about them is that the plants now hold on for a little longer, so that you can easily do a combination of different ones like this. Next thing, people have been begging for this, stay and fakie pushes. You know how in the older versions if you stay in fakie you would slowly lose your speed, and if you try to push, well, you leave your fakie stance. But now we have this new option that allows you to push in fakie mode. And this is just such a great addition for realistic skaters. Like fakie and switch skating just became way more interesting. Oh, and by the way, if you really still want to get out of the fake stance, you can still just press circle or B to brake, which gets you back into the normal switch mode. Another improvement is the new grind leaning option. You can now choose to turn the grind lean exits off. This has the effect that you will no longer drop out of a grind when leaning slightly to one side, meaning you can do stuff like this. Overall, this is really good to give your grinds more character, making it look like you actually balance your board. But of course you can also still exit your grind by just pressing circle or B just like before. Overall, it's just a super great addition. Late flips also got a small improvement. These are now much quicker than before. Here you can see me doing a late flip as early as possible in both versions to see the difference. Before, late flips felt really slow and laggy. Now they feel way more catchy and fast. And the last big update is that you are now able to drop in on large buildings, like straight down. This will definitely be cool for all those people doing big gaps from wall rides. Talking about big gaps and wall rides, let's have a look at the new map changes. Holy shit, look at this. This is some next level mega ramp stuff. Remember my mega park that I built on top of the Skate 3 city? It really reminds me of that. And there are a bunch of these ramps all over the city. For the most part, you can now find crazy spots on top of high buildings, where in the older version we just had a plain roof. Most of these have some kind of ramps and rails and other stuff to skate. I absolutely love these new spots because they really feel like secret DIY spots someone created, and also the flow of them is really good. Like you can definitely spend a good amount of time on each of these spots. But my favorite one has to be this huge pool bowl on top of the Casper Hotel. This pool skates super well, looks insanely good and has a ton of different lines to skate. You can even drop into it from the higher rooftop. And last but not least, we can't forget to talk about the new tunnel. Remember this closed off tunnel? Well, it now is finally open, and damn did it reveal a cool location. I always thought that we would get a tunnel with maybe a parking garage next to it or something, but we got this whole underground tunnel with neon lights and cool ramps to skate. I already spent a good hour just trying to find the perfect line here, but there are just way too many cool spots in this small area. Oh, and some of these neon lights seem to have found their way over to the cathedral. Here you can now skate it in a whole different look, which I really like. Same goes for this small underground area right here. I have to say, these small adjustments to already existing locations always bring in some fresh air, and same goes for the 80s theme aesthetic to many parts of the map. I think in some areas it's a bit overkill, like I don't need an 80s themed graffiti every few meters, but the new style of the Market Mile Park already looks so much better than the old one. Like this retro vaporwave aesthetic fits perfectly right here. Besides that, the overall map again got a few updates to make it look more worn out, gritty and dirty, which just looks great. And now we get to the next big update, the replay editor. Yes, this might be one of the features everyone was demanding the most, so to showcase it, let's hit a quick trick down this handrail. Yep, very realistic. Okay, so if we now go into the replay editor, it kinda looks the same as before, but we can now go into advanced edits. Here we can first trim the part of the replay that we want to use, so let's just go to the beginning of the clip and trim it right here. And then confirm that by switching from the trim tab to the keyframe tab. We can choose between orbit, free and tripod camera, so for this we're gonna use the free camera, and let's put the field of view to around 80. Now let's set it up around here at the beginning of the clip, put down a keyframe by pressing down, and after this we can move forward until about here and adjust the camera like this. Now if we play this back, you can already see that the camera is following along the keyframes. If you don't like it, we can also go back and either delete a keyframe or update it like this. Now we just have to continue on and do this for the whole clip. And of course we can also adjust the tilt and zoom over these keyframes. So let's just adjust a few of them to make the replay look even better. finally, another cool part is that we can also go into the settings and change the player filtering so that only we are visible, which I'm sure many of you will like. And once we're done, we can move over to the next tab and export the replay directly from the game. And here you can see the finished result. As you can see, it's still a bit laggy and not perfectly smooth, but that's just something you have to put some time into it. Generally, the further the keyframes are apart, the smoother the camera movement is gonna be. Overall, I really like the replay editor so far. It has to be mentioned that this is far from finished and the developers will keep improving it. I think so far my biggest problems with it are that sometimes the keyframe transitions do not feel as smooth as they should. I also wish that the camera tilting would be separated from the normal keyframes and that the camera movement would stay the same no matter how tilted the camera is. Right now, if you turn the camera by 90 degrees, your controls will also rotate like that, which makes the navigation really hard. Oh, and we of course also need playback speed keyframes like in Skate 3, so we can also hit some cool speed ramps like this. Alright, enough talking about the replay editor, what about challenges? We of course get a bunch of new challenges, but one big new addition are the Own the Lot challenges. Those of you who played Skate 3 should remember these. Sadly, they are not in this specific build I have, but be assured they are going to be in Season 2. Basically, you have a bunch of tasks you have to complete in a specific area. However, this time you can also do these with friends, which can be a lot of fun and make them easier to complete. But let's assume you don't have any friends. Well, you can now set up a party beacon, signaling that you are searching for people to team up with. Once you found a few, you can start a party and do the challenge together. And the best part, Skate now has a party voice chat.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
So meeting new people to skate with has never been easier. Alright, that's pretty much everything. Of course, there's still a lot more to discover, but I thought that I would just give you a quick overview. In my honest opinion, this is by far the best update yet. We're getting so many cool map updates, good visual updates, and an actual good skate pass, also good new music, new tricks, a good replay editor and much more. Lately I kinda lost the fun to play this game and I think that this update really brought that back. Like just hitting realistic clips now feels so much more satisfying because I know I can now edit a good replay of it. And yes, the game is far from perfect. I still hate the whole VAI technology aspect of the game and I still think that the graphics look too cartoonish, but this update definitely is a big step in the right direction. But what are your opinions? Do you like this update? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more skate content. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!